Hey guys, what's up? Skahan here, and I'm taking you guys on a journey. We're going to the Arma 3 classroom. We're going to be discussing Art of the Ambush. Before we get into the material, we need to go over some key terms. So you guys are on the right page, you guys know what I'm talking about, and you guys have no flaws in between. We're going to be going over the key terms of kill zone, blocking position and elements, OP, CP, LOA, IED, and VBID. Kill zone. Kill zone is just a set area of fire. It's exactly how it sounds. If you walk into the kill zone, you're going to die. So it's basically a direction that a set group is gonna shoot. So if my kill zone is anything and everything 200 meters to my northeast, that means anything that comes in between me and my that passes my line of sight northeast is going to die. Blocking position or elements. Blocking position could be 1, 2, maybe even 3 guys, whereas an element can be up to an entire company or brigade, depending on the size of the exercise you're doing. And what this does is it can be there to defend the ambushing unit. So if the enemy unit coming down the road or coming in the area and they can see them, if there's anyone off the beaten path to the left or right, they don't get flanked. It can also be kind of a dividing unit. So let's say there's 2 squads a half a kilometer apart, and the first squad gets into the ambush. You can actually send a unit to block that second squad from reinforcing that first squad. So you actually block them, or you can block them from going past your ambush or past a certain point. OP, observation post. Not going to insult your intelligence, guys. Ain't going to do it. It's exactly like it sounds. Some key tips on this: if you have a OP and you can't see more than 180 degrees around you, you might want to find somewhere else. Of course, mission dictating and area dictating, yeah, that might be the only thing you have. You might have something that's literally in a valley and you only have maybe 30 degrees. Use it. But normally I like to put mine on top of a hill, a very, very large hill, where my OP can see in a 360 degrees, or all he or she has to do is move 20 yards back and he can see 130 or 100 or 360 degrees. Woo, tongue-tied today. CP, command post. Now, the technical term is basically where the commanding officer is. It really doesn't matter. It could be the sergeant. Wherever he is a command post, in my eyes. Because if you're only operating in a squad in Arma, he's the commander. So wherever he is, you got to protect him. That could be right in the shit, right next to his troops, or it could be at the air base 5 clicks away. Regardless, that's what a CP is. LOA, limit of advance, is an imaginary line that you don't cross. So let's say I'm on the south side of a road with my squad. We're in a line and we just engaged the enemy. We believe they're all destroyed. We're going to assault forward across the road. Now we're going to say my LOA is 20 meters north of the road. LOA means I'm going to clear everything all the way up to 20 meters past on the north side of the road. I'm not going to go anywhere. If they say, oh yeah, we don't have a limit of advance, don't be an ass and be like, oh, I'm just trudging along, 2-3 clicks away, we didn't set up a LOA. It's not what I'm saying. Don't be a dick. But it is possible. So if there are some cases that I just feel like being an ass, and we're going to go a kilometer. We're going to clear a kilometer after we engage to make sure that there's nothing beside them. So, IED, improvised explosive device. Pretty self-explanatory, gents and ladies. In Arma 3 context, could be anything as a mine, a satchel charge, explosive charge, claymore, self-detonating or command-detonated ordnance, depending on what the scenario is. Now, if it's a minefield, don't say IED in the middle of a minefield. It's probably a mine in the minefield. But if there's one mine on the side of the road and you can confirm this, or maybe there's even 6 mines. Minefield is normally anything over 20 mines in about a 100-meter area. I'm just giving you guys sizes. So be realistic. VBID, basically an IED on wheels. Some scripts are out there that actually have cars that have IEDs. The ones I use is I put a satchel down, drive a car over the top of it, park it, and go off in the woods, wait for someone to go past and blow it up. Hey, it works. So let's get into the nuts and bolts. Ambush. What is an ambush? It's basically a surprise attack on an unsuspecting enemy that is moving from point A to point B, and you just catch them in between. So, in other words, I'm going to hide by this road and wait for this person or this type of people or everybody. It doesn't really matter. If you're in Altus Life or any of them survival mods, you could destroy anybody who comes across that road. It's still an ambush. What is it used for? What is an ambush used for? Well, obviously, the easy one is saying to kill everything that comes past. But there are some simpler ones as well. Prevent enemy movement. Maybe you don't have enough guys to have a checkpoint, but you have enough guys to have an ambush. And you can distinctively tell, you're looking for a certain type of vehicle. Like we're looking for Ifrits or off-roads with MGs in the back of it. Obvious military vehicles. And we're going to destroy them. Or you just want to destroy anything who comes around. You can also use it as a prevention area. So let's say we want to, from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. game time, normally the drug runners run thick. We're going to set an ambush on this road and cull them out, kill them out. So you can do it at a set time. You can do it to destroy personnel, equipment, communications. Maybe the person don't have a radio, or they don't have TeamSpeak, or they don't have a third-party communication, and they're literally taking the information from the guy that's sitting at the OP wherever they're going to raid, and he's driving back to the base to give the information to the guys that are there. And you just kill him, you cut off communications. When and where can you use an ambush? You can use them anywhere, at any time, day or night. Wind, snow, fog, rain, doesn't really matter. Now, if it's flat, barren, sandy landscape where it's literally flat for a kilometer squared and there's no cover, no concealment, no nothing, you can do it, but I'm not going to be right there beside you. It's not happening. If you have a open field with a couple bushes or a shallow rock fence or something like that you can use that. It's valid. Just be smart. And you can do them at night. Most ambushes happen at night. The most successful ones are at night, but you can do them in the day. Morning, dusk, dawn, midday, in-game. It really doesn't matter. It's personal preference. Now, I'm going to share something that I use to make my ambushes effective. Right now, I'm setting at probably about a 98% successful chance if I deploy an ambush, I'm going to be successful. 98%. And the last couple times, I've only got overrun once, but we'll just say 98. And those are my 5 fundamentals. The 5 fundamentals are location, enemy, mission, friendly, and plan. Now you're like, really? Plan? But we'll get into that. First off, location. Knowing where you're going to fight at. It helps tremendously. If you look at a map, looking at a map doesn't tell you what's there. It tells you the land features and the buildings, but it really doesn't show you the bushes and where they're positioned. Where if you're on this hill and you're at this certain point, you can just see this much. Or if you go over here, you can see all of this. Knowing exactly what the terrain features are. Is there water? Is there a cliff? Is there something that you might have missed or overlooked on a map? Doing a map recon is great and is a good asset, but really having eyes on and going there and seeing what's there and taking note will help your ambush tenfold. It'll help, because you could say, okay, I'm going to engage here. If we start feeling like we're getting overrun, we're going to use this creek bed that connects into this ditch, that connects into this spur, and that's what we're going to bug out on. Number 2, enemy. You can wing it. Anybody can wing anything and get away with it. But knowing your enemy is going to help you a lot more than what you think, and never underestimate them. There's been several times Altus Life said we're going to attack some cops. They should be easy kills. They come rolling in a Marshal. Now a Marshal's relatively easy to destroy or disable, but we had no AT. We had a Claymore, which I happened to set it up and disable the Marshal, and we actually happened to kill the cops, but not without one major firefight. So knowing what the enemy has, and even what they look like, what uniforms do they wear, what weapons do they carry, what are they going to have? Mortars or artillery? Are they going to have a helicopter go with them, or are they going to have a tank? There's nothing better than preparing for a wheeled vehicle, and then an MBT rolls across the hill, and it's like, well, shit just got real. So know your enemy, what their equipment is, and what they're bringing. It's going to help you. Mission. Having a mission will help you. Now you can say, we're going to go fuck shit up. Alright. That's a valid mission, I guess. But if you have a purpose, that gives you an end game. What does us being successful look like? Because the grunts on the ground, the privates, if you're in those millisims, the guys that are with you, they're going to want to know what it looks like, so that I know that it's over. So we are here to prevent anybody from coming through. We destroy everyone between the hours of 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. When 2 a.m. hits, we leave, mission success. So, or destroying or even capturing equipment. Alright, we're going to use claymores on the road. We're going to disable their vehicle's tires. We're going to destroy the personnel that dismounts, and then we're going to refix the vehicles, and we're going to take them. And that's whenever we leave. Could take an hour, could take 6 hours, could take 5 minutes. Get a mission. Friendly capabilities. Now this is a huge, major problem. If you go ask yourself, what are my capabilities for this? And you go, well, I'm a sniper, but you can't shoot. It takes 5 rounds to hit something. You're not a sniper. Sorry. If you use two 200 round magazines and an LMG to kill one person, or to even saturate a 10 meter by 10 meter area, you're not a machine gunner. If you can never, ever hit your target with a grenade launcher, you're not a grenadier. And if you cannot hit Altus, like you aim between your legs with an AT-4 and you can't hit Altus, you're not an anti-tank person. I'm sorry. Find your niche. Everybody has a niche. Know your capabilities. Know your skill level. Know, okay, if they come with a tank, we can't do anything about it. We're just going to let them go by. So, knowing that. And knowing that also goes into assets. Do I have tanks available? Are there reinforcements available? Are there artillery assets? Airplanes? Aircraft? Things like that. Is there a drone available? Plan. Number 5 is plan. And most of you are probably like, really, you have your 5 fundamentals as plan? Yeah, because having a plan works. I'm being serious. Having a plan works. It's so take and how I do this one is I take the 4 that I just went over, fill in the blanks on those, and then I look at what I'm trying to do and I formulate a plan. I put my own finesse on it. Okay, I'm going to use this to stop the convoy. I'm going to use this in reserve. I'm going to put these guys here, but I'm going to have this. And it's going to kind of throw them through this loop if they do this. Make a plan from start to finish. Now, 3 different kinds of ambushes. There's more. People come up with different styles. A diamond ambush, I think there is. There's a couple other ones, but these are the main ones that I use, and I keep it simple. I ain't gonna lie, I keep it simple. Linear. Basically, you stand shoulder to shoulder with a couple meters in between, wait for someone to walk past your kill zone, and you destroy them. Pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy. L-shaped is basically a linear, except you kind of have this little flank wing that's aimed in. So like if you took your linear and took the 2 guys on your right and just told them to go forward 5 meters and then turn left and aim left, and like they're going to be shooting, their bullets are going to go right in front of your face, that's an L. Very good with roads. B-shape. B-shape is not road friendly. You can make it road friendly, but I normally use this in an open area ambush, field, stuff like that. And basically, if I'm the base of the V, if you think I'm the bottom part of the V, and my guys are in a V-shaped, going left and right of me, the enemy's coming directly to me. So whenever they get within, XYZ meters of me, we're all going to start firing, and you catch them in a crossfire. So it's not impossible to do on a road, but it does present its own challenges. Now, a brief history about ambushes, because hey, I love history, especially military history. Ambushes are only failed if the enemy destroys you or makes you withdraw, or you don't complete your mission. Now you think, well, yeah, obviously that's a fail. But it's literally just that. It's that simple, guys and gals. It's simple to the T. Let's say you, on Altus Life, are a cop. You and 2 of your buddies are going to go to this position and set up an ambush. You're going to destroy everybody because everybody on the server is being, douches or whatever. You're going to destroy anybody and everybody and everything that comes through that part of the road between the hours of 1 and 2. Now, let's say between that hour of 1 and 2 a.m. or p.m. or whatever time span, not a single, not even a rabbit crosses. And you log off, mission success. Because you effectively prevented anybody from using that road. That's what you were trying to do, even though you worded it wrong, different. You didn't word it wrong, you just worded it different. we're going to destroy everybody. We're preventing anybody from using this road by destroying them. So make sure that is successful. Make sure you don't overthink it. Oh, well, we didn't get in any engagements, mission failed. Mission wasn't a fail. You just didn't get engaged. Believe it or not, in Vietnam, there was thousands of ambushes every month. Less than 15% saw any combat, but most of them were successful. Most every one of them were successful. You're thinking, not really. On TV, I watch all these movies. It's Hollywood. Hollywood, people. Hollywood. You don't have to see an engagement or contact every time you go out. Contrary to popular belief, people that are over there now can walk outside of the wire, go on a patrol for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, come back and never see anybody, or never get shot at once, never be threatened. Sometimes they constantly get threatened, constantly get engagements. It just depends. It's not like the movies where, I'm going to set up this ambush and miraculously everybody's going to funnel to it because it's some magic deal. That concludes the main part of my class. Now I'm going to go over 3 parts. They're going to be real brief, of how to react and how to counter, and some key indicators. Now, under react, there's 2 parts. Reacting to an ambush is probably what you're going to do most times. Countering an ambush is very difficult. You can never really counter an ambush whenever you're in an ambush. You react. And it's how you react that makes it a counter. Whenever I say counter an ambush, means you kind of throw it through where you make it a lot harder for the enemy to see you, or you even see the enemy before they ever see you. The guys that are trying to ambush you. But let's get into react. React to a near ambush. Near ambush, how to gauge that? Throw a hand grenade. Wherever it lands, pause, measure the distance from yourself to that hand grenade. Any bad people that are shooting at you in that distance, that are within that distance, that is a near ambush. This is what you're supposed to do by textbook. But I'm going to tell you, put my own little finesse on it, just for those Arma 3 people. Number 1, I don't care who you are, if you shoot at me, I'm going to shoot back. So take that advice. If you're in an ambush and you hear pop, 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 find the directions they're shooting at, just sound people. You don't have to have the exact, they're 200 meters northwest at such and such degrees. I don't care. I just want to shoot back. I want to feel like I'm fighting. So immediately return fire and find cover. Once you find cover, throw your hand grenades. Throw smoke grenades. Throw everybody. This is everyone. Chuck them. While you're laying down fire. Once the grenades explode, you're gaining the initiative again. You're going to take everybody, every boot. You're going to get up and you're going to charge the enemy. Now you're thinking, that's insane. What if they're up a hill? Well, if they're within near distance, they're basically on top of you. So if you don't gain the initiative back, you all die. Now you might all die anyway, but at least they're going to go, wow, that escalated quickly, Now if there is a supporting unit, that supporting unit needs to recognize that front unit or that back unit is in an ambush. The ambushed unit needs to realize they're in an ambush and tell the other unit that. and that other unit needs to immediately start maneuvering on where that fire is coming from. Because if they can start turning a flank, now let's say you're in a squad, and you're the ambushing guy, and there's only one squad. The squad's in front of you, you ain't got to worry about anybody. You can sit there for an hour and just slaughter them slowly. But if there's a company or a platoon, and you're only engaging one squad, but there's 5 squads coming up the hill behind you, you're shortening that time. There, that other group is shortening the time. Okay, I don't have an hour. I don't even have a minute to sit here. I've got to kill this guy, as many of these guys now, and get the hell out of here. Otherwise, I'm going to be a grease spot. So, remember that, guys and gals. Reacting to a far ambush. It's almost identical to a near ambush, except minus grenades. Once you start taking fire, get direction, return fire. Take cover. Once you take cover, you don't have to maneuver. You don't have to engage. You don't have to push forward. That's whenever you can start sighting in. Alright, they're on the hilltop at 0, 2, 1, 200 meters away. Engage. And now you've focused all your units' fire on the one little point. Because you have distance between you. AT-4s on that hill. Grenades. Smoke grenades out. You can use smoke grenades, but hand grenades, you're just going to be throwing them in a gully. Or in front of you. And they're not going to do anything. They're not going to do any damage. They're just going to go boom and make a loud noise. You need to communicate. Now it's up to the commander or the unit commander to communicate with his supporting element. The supporting element needs to immediately return fire, because chances are they're going to be able to see the position as well. And they need to begin maneuvering on that position. Now, what I like to do in my own is, if I have a rear element, they suppress fire and I move my element out of the kill zone. Getting your guys out of the kill zone is important. So that's my own finesse on it. You go into any military book, they're going to tell you the same thing: get out of the kill zone. But some of them do it a little bit vague, and some of them do it kind of too much in detail. Just get out of there whenever you can. Don't just Hayukin it out of there. It's not going to work like that, guys. Gals. Counter ambush tactics. Now you can make up your own. What I like to do is an an echelon left or right to an echelon left or right to a V or a wedge. So I have a wedge in lead, or I have my lead element. To there, let's say we're doing an echelon right to the echelon right. Basically what that means is I have a squad in a line formation on the right rear side of that lead element. In a line. You heard me correct. And then I have an echelon right to their right rear. So that basically, if I get engaged, that second squad is already in a combat line. They can already engage, and it sweeps farther to their right. So if you're a ambushing unit, and then you see this lead element, and then you see a line of soldiers like 200 meters out, and you're within that line, you're probably not going to engage that ambush. You're probably going to try to get out of there. If you do engage it, that rear echelon right is going to sweep around and cut off. It's basically like a giant arm. If you take your arm and put it behind you in a straight, and then kind of like curl it as it comes beside you, all the enemies in that big hole. So that's basically what it is. You surround the enemy, and that's the easiest way to destroy them. You can do a whole multitude of different things. One of the easiest ones, if you don't have a lot of people or a lot of things like that, is have a helicopter pilot. Have a Blackfoot or an Apache helicopter pilot. Because yeah, they might not be able to see IEDs and stuff like that, but they flip on their thermals, you can see the enemy, and they can destroy them. So that is out there. There's also vehicles that do it, but vehicles have terrain difficulties. At least a helicopter is up in the air. Key indicators of an ambush. Now this is a game. In real life, it's similar but different. I mean, cities are normally occupied. But let's say you're in Altus Life in Kavala, downtown Kavala, and there's normally anywhere from 20 to 30 people on, and you're a cop, and you literally just leave. You're gone for 30 seconds, and you come back, and nobody's around. A flag should go up and say, "Warning, you may need to, get out of here. Something's wrong." Because there's one thing that transfers, and it's awesome to see, is if something bad's going to happen, the civilian population normally knows it. Now, for those guys who are going from Kavala to Altus International Airport or going to the East Coast, and you're using that main highway,
he's either going to do it
once you leave the suburb part of Kavala, you probably ain't going to see very many people
tries to land it because he's loaded
but
the ground
on the
already.
off chance that you're
what that's going to do is
driving along, and all of a sudden you see this guy standing beside the road,
possibility, like an
and he's
85%
watching
chance of making this
or
helicopter
he's on top of a mountain, and you can definitely tell that he's looking in your direction.
It's propeller
probably
air, its rotors are not pushing air onto
everybody
the ground.
now. OP.
And basically, it's dropping.
Probably
it's
observing
falling
you,
to the ground as hard
seeing
as it
who
can
you are.
With everything, there's nothing
probably an
pushing
ambush.
it up.
Now that doesn't mean they're after you.
It's
but
very
it's
difficult.
Probably a good indicator
to get out of this, especially while
indicators
you're
of an
spinning.
IED.
And once he
Rocks
hits
beside
the
the
ground,
road.
He's gonna crash.
Anything to obscure
either
vision. Now
kill
they can't
everybody
pick up a rock
inside,
and put it
blow the
beside road.
helicopter up.
So it's got to be there
or
naturally. So if
critical
you're
everybody
taking a
inside
route,
to an extent
certain
of where
route
they're
all the
manageable
time,
to kill.
you should know where these points are.
Regardless if a
Bushes
helicopter
and
does
things
crash,
like that. Stuff
shoot
that
it
will
in the side
hide.
with an RPG, it blows
Especially
up,
a
kills everybody
claymore.
around it.
Claymore is
It's a lot
very
easier.
deadly, especially against
2,
vehicles. They'll
he
disable your
increases
tires
power and
and
tries to
possibly
gain
kill you in
altitude
the process
to do a
while
small
keeping your
maneuver
vehicle
where
intact.
he can actually start going forward, go back
if
to
it's
base.
a light vehicle. If
Fuel,
it's an armored
doing
vehicle,
this,
it's a little bit harder.
He's going to use up a lot
How
of his
to
fuel.
see a
If he has a
V-bid?
fuel leak, he's going to use up even more
there's
fuel
no real
to
indicator
do this. So
except a
he
car
has to
parked on the side of
micromanage
the
a
road
lot.
that shouldn't normally
he
be
increases, which increases the
So,
spinning.
Something I like
which
to do
if
is call
anybody gets any
911
kind of motion
and have the
sickness,
cops
this
come
will make you go
to it, and I
this
say,
will make
yes,
you
I'm in the
motion sick.
purple car,
You'll be sick.
and
I
there's
get
an
sick.
orange car
Trust me.
between where they're coming
And
from
then
Kavala
He takes
there,
off.
and my ID is right there, so they have to
Or he
drive
can
right
try to
past that orange
stabilize
car.
it. Third, he can try to stabilize and land, which most pilots try to do. They will gain
I'm
a
gonna
little
add
bit of
a
altitude, and then they will try to
Actual
stabilize
mission that me and a
as
couple of
much
my
as they
buddies
can
did,
and land.
and I'm going to
The
commentate
problem with
it,
this
tell you
is
what's
he's
going
losing
on,
power in his
tell you what
engine, in his main
the
rotor. He's lost
mission
all power
was,
in his tail rotor, and he's losing
what
fuel.
assets we had available.
He's freaking out because
basically my
in
fundamentals.
no way is
my
he paying
plan that I
attention to
had
who's on the ground.
show you. I'm actually going to
So
let you
as
see us
he's
execute this,
Coming lower to the ground,
and
let's
then
say he
give an after action report
increases,
of what
does
happened.
a little trick, he starts going, he starts
And
banking, turning.
I hope you
and
guys
he's gonna
enjoy. Here we go. Basically, the situation that we're running into right now is CSAT forces are moving to a base on the northeast side of Ethera, and we're going to engage them before they get to Ethera. Now, our intel suggests that it is a attack convoy. There's going to be some armor or some weaponized vehicles. There's going to be troops, and there's supposed to be some supplies. We're basically told to destroy, basically make them ineffective. Destroy the troops, destroy the supplies, and really inflict as many casualties as we can. Once our Advon party actually gets there and sets up IEDs and explosive charges inside the village is completely cleared out, so that way we don't risk any civilians. But we have a good high ground to the southwest and a little bit more west than south. As you can see now, I'm aiming in the direction of where our guys are and where the enemy is going to be. And I'm actually more northwest than any of the other guys. That my hill that I'm actually on overlooks more and blocks the rest of my guys' vision of the incoming enemy. So they're really relying on me right now. and I'm trying to find them. I know it's night, and after about 20 minutes, they finally show up right where they're supposed to be. And the thing that I'm thinking of right now is, going through my head, what do we have? And our armaments are, we have one Humvee with a minigun, one Land Rover with a 50 cal. I'm carrying a marksman rifle with a high-powered scope, night vision capable. I'm also carrying an RPG, and the other guys are carrying a grenade launcher, rifle with an M203, and an LMG. So what we're doing right now is I'm trying to see what the enemy's bringing. I automatically see light armor, and nothing that we can't destroy with our RPGs, but it's gonna throw us through a loop. I don't really see any troop transports. I see the truck types, but I can't really be 100% sure if they got troops in the back of them. And to be honest, I actually don't even notice if they did have troops in them. So I didn't really call them out. And right now we're just getting set, and I'm trying to tell them where the lead vehicle is. And here's the engagement. You should have eyes on here shortly.
I hear it. Oh, okay. I saw the headlights.
Second vehicle is a Ifrit. It's still up, it's still up.
Coming to fire. That second truck?
We're firing.
Go.
Where's the rest of the convoy?
BTR are coming in.
They act like they know where we at?
Yeah.
Let them keep running.
I hit the BTR.
Pulling us up around to you.
This fucking gun is great. Oh my god. Yeah. That's a rock.
Anything else?
I think fire. From where? Oh, okay.
Coming up on your 6.
That was sniper fire from somewhere. Yeah.
What's the name? Is that RPG?
Troops on the ground by the downed vehicle.
Taking fire.
Reloading.
What's they taking fire from?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh shit, there's a ton of people.
Check right, yeah, like that.
I'm almost out of ammo. Oh fuck.
Man down.
I'm down.
Lay down, supposed to fire. I got him. Fuck, I don't know if I can get him. He's underneath the car. Hold on. I gotta move the car. Watch yourself.
So everything really went to plan whenever we did this. The first vehicle made it a little bit further than what we had thought he would have been, and we thought that that was really going to hinder us with the second vehicle, or at least I did. But surprisingly enough, my second shot with the RPG hit it and completely destroyed it, which I was actually very surprised in. The mopping up we did, we really didn't get that much return
I
fire.
think that transport truck's cleared out.
We only suffered one
Not sure.
wounded. We got him up.
From it.
Alright.
Both our machine guns ran out. We used a lot of ammunition because we didn't know until
Alright.
right at the end that there was that many soldiers on ground. Especially whenever we start taking fire, there's only 3 of us. We really have to lay down excessive fire. Communication could have been a lot better on my end, but I think we all knew what we were supposed to do, and kind of how things were supposed to roll. We played with each other quite a bit. So as for the ambush, we destroyed all vehicles, kind of excessively shooting rockets, but we destroyed all vehicles
Reloading.
except for one. Our after action review or after action report review, whatever you want to call it, actually showed that we missed a vehicle, and it would have been the trail vehicle, would have been a medical truck, actually was coming down the mountain before as we engaged, and we didn't see it. It actually ducked behind some trees, and instead of turning right down the road, it actually turned left. So out of all the vehicles, we destroyed
Well, nobody's in
a good over 80% of them. Killed all but one soldier out of the entire group. We never really got a casualty report. We got in, got out, and did our job, and stopped this convoy from getting its mark. And I believe that that is a successful successful operation in my eyes. We didn't have any guys respawn. We didn't have any guys really take that many hits. We suppressed the enemy, destroyed their vehicles, got them out of their vehicles, and you know, we went to town. We had the elevation, we had the surprise, we had the firepower. Even though they did have some lightly armored BDRM or BTRs and BMPs, we destroyed them before they were really of any use, so they could use their offensive weapons against us. So taking out of this, there's a lot of things we did right. Coordination, we got there way before the enemy did, so we were able to look around, see what the terrain was, and use it to our advantage. After the last vehicle blew up, or what we thought was the last vehicle blew up, we actually went down to survey, scavenge, and make sure that all the vehicles were destroyed. There was no equipment left. Right now I'm turning on to a knocked out armored personnel carrier, and I only hit it with 1 RPG, and I was actually very surprised that it did that much damage. One little note: there's actually mines still set out here. Not all the ordnance was blown up, and I didn't know that until about halfway through it. But as you can see, the vehicles are still accessible. They're not completely destroyed, and we wanted to make sure that we destroyed all the vehicles, or at least I did. That was our mission, and that's what I'm doing right now, is getting ready to set charges and basically mop up, and mission success. And that's really what we did. As you can see, the gun orientation on that Ifrit is actually the wrong way. So that gunner was pointing the wrong way. We hit him in such a way, and believe it or not, I did not see that Ifrit go past. So that was a surprise to me whenever I drove up. Mission success. I hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope you guys learned something. Like it, don't like it, subscribe. Be cool. Be badasses. And go forth.